Hello, guys. Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome. If you have any questions, you can just, type it here in the comment section, and then we'll try to get through the questions. Today, I'm just going to focus on the questions. I'll just say some important things that I said in the last live for those people who have not applied, and then we'll go ahead and just take questions. And then after that, we'll see what we can do. I know a lot of people have asked me to do a video on how to complete the application. I did a video, but then I didn't do a good form. That's from the DV Lottery website. So I did a video, so that will be posted hopefully tomorrow. I'm still editing it. It's going to be very short and to the point. So if you want to get explanation, you'll have to watch the other one. But other than that, this is going to be a quick to show you a married couple can apply and then add kids. So it'll show you how to add kids. So keep typing your questions. Let us know where you're watching us from. Thank you so much. Last live, I had 26 subscribers, and this live, I have 28 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. And please share my video. Let's get to 30,000 subscribers. I know you guys can help me get there. So make sure you're sharing this video with your friends, family, everybody that you can share these videos with. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your presence. So we're gonna start, and I'm just gonna review stuff that we talked about last time, and then I'm gonna go to the post that I did on my YouTube, and then we'll pull questions from there, and then we'll go from there. Any burning question, make sure you type it here. Sorry about my hair. I'm just tired of wearing wigs, and my hairdresser, here baking hair is like $200, and still you can't find somebody to fix your hair. So they've canceled on me 3 times. So today I'm coming live with Matuta. These things, we call them Matuta back home. So my hair is in a mess. I'm not wearing a wig. So we're going natural. So that's me. Okay, so let's start on the questions. First, let me talk about important things. First is your picture. Make sure your picture meets requirements. If you don't know what I mean, then go to my videos. I did like 100 videos just talking about photos because I know that's important. Use a photo tool. I can do, if I get time, I'm going to do that at the end of the video. So we'll do a photo tool so you know how to edit your photos. If you don't know, like you can put it and crop it there. That crops it, but then don't use it to check if your picture meets requirements. Just use it to crop the picture to appropriate dimensions. Okay, number one, after you check your photos, make sure they are good. Go to eligibility. The question about eligibility is important. You claim eligibility from the country of birth, where you are born. So don't claim anywhere else, because you might win the green card, and if you go to the embassy, they will deny you a visa because you claim the wrong eligibility. That's why it's important, because with that, it waits until the last minute when you have your interview and everything, and then they tell you you can't get this visa because you claimed you are Ugandan and you're Kenyan. So the only reason or the only time that you don't claim eligibility from the country of birth is if maybe you're from Nigeria, you're from India, you're from this country, Iran, these countries that do not qualify. So in that case, then if you're married to somebody, like if you're Nigerian and you're married to a Kenyan, you can apply for the green card lottery and claim eligibility from your wife, country of birth. So you'll claim eligibility from Kenya if you don't qualify. The second thing is if you have kids, if you're a kid born in India. So for example, a Kenyan family goes to India for treatment, goes to India as tourists or whatever, and then they happen to give birth to a kid in India. They're not Indian, but then their kid was born in India. So this kid is not eligible to apply. But then the kid can apply and claim eligibility from the Kenyan parents because both parents are not from India. But if one of the parents is from India, then no. But then if both parents are from somewhere else and then you just happen to be born in a country that's not eligible, then you can claim eligibility based off of that country. So that's number 2 about eligibility. The third thing, make sure you add your kids. Guys, if your kids are in school, make sure you take their picture and then you add your kids. Because if you win in your DS260, if you add those kids, you'll be disqualified. You won't get a visa because you lied in your initial application. Add your children. We're talking about biological children. We're talking about adopted kids. So if you adopted kids, legally you have papers to show that you adopted these kids, then you can add them. Also, step kids, if you're married to somebody who has kids, you don't need to adopt them. You can just add those kids to your application. So just make sure you're adding all those kids. And adoption, I don't, like if you took care of your nephew, your niece, maybe the parents died and you're the sole caregiver or you're the guardian, as long as you don't have adoption papers, you cannot add them. Make sure you add them if you have adoption papers only. Okay, another thing is the marital status. Make sure you're selecting correct marital status. So for example, if you've lived with somebody for 30 years, you have 10 children, and you don't have legal papers to show that you're married, you cannot add them. You cannot apply as married. Make sure you apply as married, either if you have a marriage certificate or if your country allows traditional marriages, and then you have affidavit of marriage or whatever they call it in your country, then you can add your wife. If you're unmarried, don't be afraid. Just apply as unmarried. If you win, you can marry her or him and then add them to your DS-260. So it's not like if you apply and then you win, what happens? If you win, you just get married. And then because you have kids to show, so your relationship is going to be easy to prove because you've been living together, right? So after, if you apply as unmarried, you end up winning, you can still add them and immigrate with them. Another thing, email address. Guys, email address. I can't insist this enough. Make sure the email address that you use is you who opened it. Don't let the cyber guy open an email address for you, because they can change the password, and then if you win, then guess what? You win, and then they're like, give us 100,000 before we give you a confirmation number. You don't want that. And for those people who applied and they said they lost the confirmation number or whatever, something happened to the confirmation number, do not worry about it, because when the results come out in May, you can actually go to the website as long as you have the email address that you used to apply. If you have that email address, you'll be able to retrieve your confirmation number. That's why I insist you open the email address so you have access to the password and everything. So in case you lose your confirmation number, you can go ahead and retrieve it. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of your cyber guy. Okay, a lot of people are asking, how old do you have to be to apply? There's no age limit. You just need high school, and then you need, if you don't have high school, you have work experience. Some people think they need both. You do not need both. If you have high school in Kenya, I think they only need a D something. So you don't have to go like score A's or whatever. They don't care about that. So if you have like a D and then you completed high school, even if you've never worked a single day of your life, but you have high school, that is enough to qualify. Work experience is for the people who did not complete high school. So if you did not complete your high school, then you probably need the work experience. So that's about it. So that's why people are like, okay, how old do you have to be to apply? You can apply at any age as long as you have either of those requirements. So can a 17-year-old, 18-year-old apply when they are still in Form 4? Yes, they can. When I applied for my brother for the green card lottery, he was in Form 4. So after he won, he had already finished and got the results. So when he went to the embassy, he had the results for the Form 4. So if you are 17, 18, whatever, going forward, if you're less than 21, you can have 2 applications. How can you do that? Because your parents can apply and add you, and you also can place your own application. So you have 2 of them. Another thing, like when you can have 2 applications, is if you're married, the husband will apply and then, add the wife, and then the wife can apply and add the husband. So that way you have 2 applications. If not, everybody has to place one and only application. If you do 2 applications, you get disqualified. So don't apply and then say, okay, maybe I forgot and typed my last name wrong, so I'm going to go ahead and apply again. You'll be disqualified. And then also, if you apply and you made a mess, maybe you put your last name as your middle name or whatever, do not worry about that. Because in your DS-260, you can correct that. There are mistakes that you can correct. Like if you switched your names, or maybe instead of typing Nafula, I put G Nagula or something like that, you can fix in your DS-260. So that you should be able to do. So I'm going to go to the questions that, those are just the important thing. I'm going to go to the questions that were asked in the post, and then we'll go to the questions that you guys are currently asking right now. About hosting, I know a lot of people have inquiries about hosting. Unless you won the green card lottery and you applied through my website, I will not share any information about hosting. Because why do you want to know? You didn't win the green card lottery. You're not interested in hosting. So why do you want to know? So you don't need that information. So usually after you win the green card lottery, you apply through the website. And then after you apply through the website, we'll contact you. And then we set up hosting. And then with the hosting, like I said, I have over 250 green card lottery applicants who need hosting. I have over 300 applications in total because I have visitors visa, people asking about visitors visa, student visa, work visa, if they can get hosting from me. I don't host anybody other than the DV lottery because I already have over 250 applications for DV lottery winners. So I don't have space for those people, so I can't accommodate somebody with a visitor's visa. So for hosting, you apply and it's a lot of people. So I will get in touch with you when you're almost going to the embassy, because the people who won in DV 2024, they reached out to me already. I already gave their address to put in the DS260. I don't have any other address for right now to give you if you haven't completed your DS260. So the people who already gave their address, if maybe your number is like, 2000 and you're currently over there, you already received your 2NL or whatever, I already reached out to you. So you're already set. So if your number is like 50,000 or 60,000, I'm not going to get back to you when your interview is next year, maybe in September. You have a long time. So we have a long time to wait. So I haven't gotten back to you. People are just bombarding me with the emails. I understand, you're anxious, you're whatever, but I won't talk to you until you're almost going to the embassy to set up hosting. Because if I set up hosting for you now, how do I know I'm going to have availability in September? I won't. Because there's some people who are, signing up to be hosts. So I have those people as well. So I have to make sure, like everybody, I don't want to schedule hosting when I don't have anywhere to put you. I like to do things the right way. I want to keep everybody, make sure everybody is satisfied. So I will contact you when I have hosting and I have everything arranged. And like I said, even if I send you to a different state, like maybe you're going to Illinois to a stranger, or you're going to Chicago, or you're going to whatever, when you come here, usually I advise you have at least some money somewhere. In case that host doesn't host you or doesn't show up at the airport, you can come to me. So I always have a room separate in case your host misbehaves. It has never happened, but then if it does, don't worry about that. If Nafula got you from Africa, I'll make sure you have a place to stay and you have a job and everything. So once I get a hold of you, I hold your hand, it's going to be until you get a job here. Okay, so some people ask, what do you need to apply? You probably already figured that out. You only need your picture and your email address. You don't need anything else. You don't need to upload birth certificate, marriage certificate. You don't need all that. You just need a photo that meets requirements, and then you need an email. That's all you need to place an application successfully. And I'll upload a video tomorrow in case you haven't applied, so you can see how it's done. Okay. Some people have asked, okay, I have 3 children. I have three different baby daddies. All the kids have separate last names. It's okay to apply with the last name that the baby has. So they don't look at, all of you have to have, the same surname if you're married. No, you can have everybody, you, husband, all the kids can have different surnames. It's okay. If a kid has 2 names, one name should be the first name, the other name should be the last name. Because here everybody has a first name and the last name. So if the kid has 2 names, one goes in the first name, the other one goes in the last name. Okay, I already say do not enter 2 times. You can also use, to apply, you can use your phone or you can use your computer. I uploaded a video because I was having a problem with my Chrome. I tried to update it, but still doesn't work. So Google Chrome will not let me put in an application. It won't let me select gender, all that stuff that you need to click on, gender, education, marriage, it won't let me select. So I corrected that by using Safari. You can use Mozilla, you can use Microsoft Edge, you can use Internet Explorer. I don't know if it still exists, but you can use another search engine, Opera, whatever search engine you can use that allows you to click, because don't submit an application without clicking those. It's important. So if you're having a problem clicking gender and all that, switch your search engine. Okay. What else? I talked about missing a name on your DS260. And then the photo tool, people are asking, how do I crop a picture? You can find that in my other videos. I did a whole video on photo tool, so you can do that. Another question is like, I want the DV lottery 2024. Should I apply? The answer is yes. If you do not live in the United States as a citizen, you don't live here as a permanent resident, if you don't have a US visa for your green card already, make sure you put in another application. You saw what happened last year with those people who went DV 2023. They were scheduled for the interview. They showed up at the gate. They're like, all the interviews are canceled. So now what? So winning a green card does not guarantee that you'll get a visa. So that's why it's important. If you want DV Lottery 2024, place your own application. If you're a student in the United States, place your own application. Because if you are maybe on F1, J1, or whatever visa, if you place an application and then you win and you're in the United States, you don't need to go back to Africa to change to get a green card. You can adjust your status while in the United States. If you're a visitor or you're here on visitor's visa, you're on any other visa, make sure you place the application. You can change your status depending on the duration of your stay. If you're a visa, business visa, 6 months, you'll not be able to do that because it takes a year before you even get your 2NL and all that. So you won't be able to adjust your status here. But if you're here as a student, like, you're an F1, you're here for 4 years, 5 years, you just have to, adjust your status here. So do not be afraid, place your application. Placing an application does not affect your future non-immigrant visas. That happens after you file your DS260. So if you win and then you file DS260 and you want to apply as a visitor, probably you will have a problem getting a visa because you already expressed immigrant intent. You already showed that I really, really want to go there and live there by filing the DS260. So that already kind of disqualifies you for the visa because you've expressed immigrant intent. Another thing that I was asked by somebody, I've had 4 people ask me, is about disability. So, there's people who are differently abled. I don't like to call them disabled. I call them differently abled. So if you have somebody who's disabled and then they apply and win the green card lottery, here they don't discriminate on anything. So if you have HIV, you have whatever disease you have, as long as it's not communicable like TB and all that, you cannot be discriminated against. You'll get a visa. If you're disabled, it's different depending on your embassy, because if you're disabled, there's something called public charge. Like if you win the green card lottery, you have to prove that you're not going to be a public charge to the United States. What does that mean? So some people come here and then they get on food stamps, housing assistance. So you apply through the government because you can't work, to give you free food, free housing, free everything. USA, they don't like that. So if you're disabled, you have to prove that you can work. And you don't have to work work physically. You can be you're good with computers. Maybe you're a computer scientist, or you do something, you're a programmer, you're disabled, but you can do something that helps you earn money so that you're not a public charge. And also if to go around that, sometimes you can get an affidavit of support. An affidavit of support is somebody, like the one I gave Geoffrey, but Geoffrey is not disabled. But then if he was, or if he were, then I'll give it to him. He goes to the embassy. He's like, you know what? Nafula said he's going to support me while I'm there. So that's why you'll get a visa, because they know Nafula is in charge of you while in the United States. But if you're disabled and you're not able to work, you don't have a affidavit of support, sometimes you might have a problem at the embassy, because they're like, who's going to take care of you? How do you need to prove that you're not going to be a public charge in the United States? So that's all the people who are differently able can apply. But then just keep that in mind, that you will need somebody here to file a affidavit of support, or you have a lot of money back home that proves that, you are going to be able, like if somebody from Saudi Arabia, those people are moneyed, I can tell you right now. So those people, they, send bank statements and you're like, whoa, is this money? Is this real? So if you have that kind of money and, you have a child who's disabled and, not disabled, complete, have caregivers and stuff like that, but disabled, but then they can do something, they can be able to take care of themselves. They'll be able to get a visa because you can prove using your bank statement that you have too much money, or affidavit of support, or I'm a computer scientist and when I go there, I know my skill will help you earn money. So they don't discriminate against disabled. If you have HIV, don't worry about that. In fact, if they tell you something like, okay, you won't get a visa because of HIV, you can sue them, because America, you're not allowed to discriminate anybody based on medical conditions. Only a few, and I already talked about those on my channel previously. And then I also already said, who can you add to your application? You can add your spouse, you can add kids, biological, adopted, and step kids.